Well, hello there, Internet! I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic. Sorry for laying down, guys, but kinda tired because I've had a rough few weeks trying to catch up on making videos.
Cause God knows it's hard to use Windows Movie Maker and copyright-free material.
Anyways, let's get started with this review, because I really want to see what comes next after what happened in the last episode.
Last time we left off with our girls arriving at a failed expansion on Vale called Mountain Glen. There they hoped to find evidence of white-fang activity, but their first day yielded no results. Their accompanying huntsman, Professor Oobleck,
It's Dr. Oobleck.
whatever, is not only there for them to shadow, but is also aware of their desire to find the white fang as he uses his skills in research and history to find any anomalies in the city. Nerd. However, during their occasional tussles with the local Grimm, he becomes curious on each girl's reason for becoming a huntsman. And after asking them, it's clear to him as well as us that the three may not be as sure on their reasons as they originally thought they might. Weiss knew that it was her duty to her family to become a huntsman, but considering her family's poor reputation when it comes to their company's morals, she may not be so sure on the decision anymore. Blake wants to help people and thinks that being a huntress will assist her in correcting the injustice in the world. But after Oobleck's questioning, she isn't so sure how to go about achieving that. And Yang is just looking for a good time, wanting lots of adventures and to travel all over the world. And if she helps a couple of people along the way, even better. But one can't help but wonder if this is just an excuse for her to find her mother and have some semblance of freedom. RWBY wasn't asked, but seeing how confident and young she is, it's possible that Oobleck knew that it would be pointless to ask somebody so innocently sure in the path they've taken.
Now let's take a look at this episode and hope that it dives in deeper into these issues. And maybe some plot as well would be nice. Lacondon, roll the clip.
Next, we return to Vale to see our lovely couple, #Goodwood for life, looking towards the city from the edge of Beacon Academy. Ironwood expresses his concern that Osmond may not be letting on to all that he knows, only for Glinda to remind him that they probably know more than the headmaster.
That makes it worse. I refuse to believe that a man I've trusted for so long would act so passively.
You're a good person, James. You've always done what you think is best for the people. But it's high time you stopped talking about trust and started showing it. Ozpin has experience that the rest of us lack. And I think that's something worth remembering.
Back in Mountain Glen, we see RWBY keeping watch as the others sleep, or more likely, as the others feign sleep.
Blake, are you awake?
Yeah.
Wanna snuggle, Blickaboo? Lacondon, shut up! Anyways, the three continue their conversation about the reasons they became huntresses. Weiss confirms my theory as she does wish to become a huntress in order to bring back some honor to her family name, but also takes it further by saying that becoming a huntsman is the only way she believes that would make a difference.
If I had taken a job in Atlas, it wouldn't have changed anything. My father was not the start of our name, and I refused to let him be the end of it.
Blake explains that she was once partners with a man named Adam and more or less reminisces about the Black Trailer. She chose this path because they were the most noble people in this world. But after so much hate, she's not so sure if she can truly undo it all.
How can I undo so many years of hate? I'm sure you'll figure it out. You're not one to back down from a challenge, Blake.
But I am! I do it all the time. When you learned I was a faunus, I didn't know what to do, so I ran. When I realized my oldest partner had become a monster, I ran. Even my semblance. I was born with the ability to leave behind a shadow of myself. An empty copy that takes the hit while I run away.
Yang then says that she wishes that she had a drive like the others, as she's always just gone from one adventure to the next, to which is why she decided to join the Huntsmen. Not so much to be a hero, but to lose herself in the ventures.
I want a life where I won't know what tomorrow will bring, and that'll be a good thing. Being a huntress just happens to line up with that. I'm not like RWBY. She's always wanted to be a huntress. Ever since she was a kid, she dreamt about being the heroes in the books, helping people and saving the day, and never asking for anything else in return. Even when she couldn't fight, she knew that's what she wanted to do.
Weiss then reminds him that RWBY's still young, only to be reminded herself that they all are still young. That's the thing about high school anime girls. I keep getting older, and they keep getting goddamn younger. Sweeties, you're making this hard for me.
Well, not anymore.
It's the life we chose.
It's a job. We all had this romanticized vision of being a huntress in our heads, but at the end of the day, it's a job to protect the people. And whatever we want will have to come second.
Sometime later, RWBY awakes as Sigh running off. Worried, she follows only to find out that he just needed to take a pee.
Sigh, this is a wasteland. You literally could have done that anywhere.
Yeah, but I believe the saying goes, don't piss where you sleep.
Unless you're into that, of course. No judging. I've got my own,
Personal fetishes.
Ruby then hears something and discovers two white things on patrol. She trails them, following them back to their hideout, where then she tries to call the rest of her team, only for there to be no signal. What a fucking coincidence. Well, we get more of it as a sinkhole opens up and Ruby falls down to see the underground portion of the city.
Freeze! Where does she come from?
You're a long way from home, little girl. The boss is gonna want to see this one.
Back with the rest of the gang, Yang finally notices that Ruby's gone when Sigh scuttles in.
Zwei?
What is it, boy? Ruby's in trouble. She's falling down the well. Good. Teach her for playing around the goddamn well. I'm not helping her this time. What is it, making like the 5th time this week?
What's going on?
Grab your weapons. Your leader may be in trouble.
We then return to Ruby waking up as her captors bring her to their boss.
You trying to do? Blow us to the moon?
Sorry, sir.
Hey, boss! Found something you might want to see.
Is it good or bad, Perry? Because, let me tell you, I have had a day.
It's a little girl?
Hey, it's Roman!
That would be bad.
At last, good things are short-lived. Anyways, upon discovering that Ruby's fallen down a hole, RWBY remembers that the southeast quadrant of Vale is known for large forces and deep caves, to which a metro system was created.
Doc, what are you saying?
My dear, we're not just looking for an underground crime network. We're looking for an underground crime network!
That there, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time we've seen true fear in Yang's eyes. Just, sweet Jesus, dude, chill. Oh, Creepy McCreepy then goes on to say that as the surface became too dangerous, the people fled below and made an underground village. But during the mining, they disturbed some subterranean grim.
After that, the kingdom officially sealed off the tunnels, creating the world's largest tomb. If Ruby is down there...
Sweet lord, weren't you just drinking out of that? Well, somebody on the design team is a fan of alien resurrection.
we must find her.
And that's the end of the episode, and holy shit! This is a dark universe that Mani's created.
And people say that the world Hajime Ishiyama made was dark. At least he came straight out with it. The show RWBY here has, for the most part, presented itself as a nice fairy-tale world for us. But it's small moments like this that remind us how harsh this place really is. Kinda like you when you finally decide to stop playing against bots on easy and play against a real challenge.
Man, stop teabagging you!
This is awesome. I was right in thinking last time that there was no evacuation, and that Vale more or less left these people to die. Granted, it is an understandable decision in order to prevent further deaths, but you can't deny that the reality is unpleasant as all hell. And it's been here since the beginning. Let's not forget that we were told in the very first episode that this was a cruel world where mankind's extinction has nearly been a real thing. Also, if it's this dangerous out here, then how desperate must the White Fang be for them to set up base there? They have to be pretty cunning, or just really stupid, to decide to work in the danger zone. Sorry. But seriously, it is clever for them to operate in a place that no one would even think about looking. Why look in a place that most people would likely be trying to forget about?
And as for what they're planning operating in a location like that, oh, that's still been in the dark. It's possible that they're planning on using the tunnels for something, as they do have all the equipment set and the train fueled and raring to go.
Sounds like Linda's average Friday night. What was also really good in this episode was the continuation of the character development we got in the previous one. Last time, upon seeing that they may not be certain in the path they've chosen, Professor Ublik,
It's Dr. Ublik.
whatever, began to inquire on them their reasons. Later on, they began to question themselves, and now they go even further into that with their little talk by the fire. Weiss's explanation on her reason is an interesting subject. She clearly doesn't endorse what her father has done with their family company, but isn't willing to just give up on it altogether. Instead, it's kind of refreshing to see her try and make a difference by choosing to be a huntsman, as they are seen as the most honorable souls in this world. She hopes to bring some of that honor back to her family name. Yang's motive seems simplistic, but gets far more complex when you remember what she's had to deal with in her life. Blake says that she always runs away from her problems, but I think subconsciously, that's Yang's issue as well. Their first day at Beacon, she ditches her sister. She's clearly an independent soul, and her reason for becoming a huntsman is to drown herself in adventures, in distractions. From what? Well, she's had to be a mother ever since hers left, and the weight of responsibility must have taken a toll on her spirit. But it doesn't seem like she consciously knows that yet. I wonder who's gonna be on your top 5 character list again.
Now, Blake's revelation is the one that's flawed. I don't think that she has a tendency to run away from her problems. As I just stated, that feels more like Yang's issue, but that she has a tendency to run away from confronting her friends.
She ran from her friend in the black trailer. She ran away from the White Fang when they became malicious. She ran from her friends when they discovered that she was a faunus. And, at least emotionally, she nearly ran when Yang confronted her about her obsession with Torchwick. It's kind of poetic as Blake is more than ready to stand up against those who hurt others, but it's an entirely different story when it comes to confronting our friends. But still, that's not the flaw, as it could be that she just didn't word it properly. What was the issue was when she was reminiscing about her past. What could have been useful was what we got back in episode 6, when Yang had her flashback. Normally, a flashback isn't really wanted, as it's sort of a poor way of giving exposition. But the creators of RWBY found a way by giving an interesting twist to the visuals. And we could have used something like that again. Maybe not as a full flashback, but some sort of partial overlay to the screen to give us some visualization on what each one was thinking. At the moment, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but trust me, by the end of this volume, you're going to understand my frustration with this.
That's certainly something I don't need. God knows YouTube's sensitive as it is already. Biased as it may be.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Oh, the things I think about on a daily basis.
I say this because this moment will become vitally important at the end of the volume.
As for now, what we got wasn't bad, and the escalation that has been building up to the end of the season has certainly improved. Last time we got 2 episodes before the end, but here we're getting nearly half the season focusing on plot-centered story. It's a nice change, even though the plot is still a little feeble.
But we still got 2 more episodes before the season comes to a close. So let's hope Rooster Teeth closes it as well as they did with the first one. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic. Me, no movie's sacred, no video's safe, but all deserve a chance. I'll catch you guys next time. Toodles!
Hey, hands off! You got knocked the fuck out, man! Give me my goddamn money. The payback's a motherfucker, ain't it? Nigga.